Good day, everybody. It is December 24th. Merry Christmas. We're going to talk about those two words, Merry Christmas, because there were two other words that were being used for a very long time that we were actually being programmed to say instead of Merry Christmas. And the reason they were trying to program it is they were afraid of people being offended. One phrase we were taught to say is Happy Holidays. Well, you know, that's all fine and dandy. But the only way I was able to bring myself to say Happy Holidays was because Christmas and New Year's are right there together. That's the only way I was able to bring myself to do it. It was great here 4 Christmases ago when President Trump took over and said political correctness is done. I was able to say Merry Christmas. Now, the other day, I know it's not proper, but I ended up having to buy a gift for somebody that was used. Alright? And the reason is because I don't have credit cards. I don't use them. I don't want them. I don't have a need for them. Except when it's time for Christmas. And the one item that you want to get for somebody is mail order only. I don't have a credit card. So that's when I go looking for used. Good used stuff. And I had to buy a good used item for somebody. And I went there, I picked it up, I gave her the money. And when we separated, you know what she said to me? She said, Merry Christmas. And then she started to explain herself. And I said, no need to explain yourself. I'm conservative too. And I believe in the words Merry Christmas. Now let's talk about Christmas for a minute. What the real meaning is. Well, the real meaning is the birth of Christ. Okay? God sent Christ down to help save us from our sins. He died on the cross for that very reason, after he went through a couple of years of teaching. I believe he died at the ripe old age of 33, 34, someplace in there. And he didn't start his ministry until he was like 30. Alright, the point is, that's what Christmas is about, the birth of Christ. Now we have other added things like Santa Claus, and elves, and reindeer, and gift giving, but it all goes back to Jesus. Every bit of it. And I don't care how you wrap it up, I don't care how you throw it around, it goes back to Jesus. If it wasn't for Jesus being born, we would not have Christmas. In fact, Christmas is held around the same time as a pagan holiday, so we'd probably all be celebrating a pagan holiday. I'm not sure what it is, and I don't know what it consisted of. I just know that Christmas is celebrated right around the same time as a pagan holiday. Now, paganism is not devil worship. I know what it sounds like, but it's not. Paganism is a religion that follows the worshiping of several gods. God of the sun, God of the harvest, God of love, God of this, God of that. We don't do that. Christians celebrate, with Christianity, which is one God and the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Now, the other one that they would like to throw at us is Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa. Well, I don't know what Kwanzaa is about, so I can't sit here and say anything bad about it. But I can't say anything good about it because I don't know anything about Kwanzaa. But the fact is, the way I've got it figured is this. If I walk up to somebody and say Merry Christmas, they say Happy Kwanzaa, what we actually did was not offend each other. We had an exchange of ideas. Isn't that what this country's about? Exchange of ideas. Same goes when you say Merry Christmas and someone comes back with Happy Hanukkah. It's an exchange of ideas. You don't need to be offended. I'll tell you what, these people that are offended, and these people that come up with ways to be offended, I'd like to get on that bandwagon as a paid member. Because I'll tell you, some of the crazy stuff they come up with, I could come up with that. Hell, add a little extra coin in my pocket, come up with all kinds of crazy offenses. But you know what? It all boils down to one thing. Get a thicker skin. Don't be so offended because somebody doesn't believe the same way you do. Don't be offended because someone doesn't celebrate what you celebrate. And for God's sakes, quit being offended just because somebody looked at you wrong. I can think of many, 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 many other things to be offended about. Like late-term abortion, war on our Second Amendment, First Amendment rights, war on Christianity. Those are things to be offended about, okay? Being offended because someone says Merry Christmas to you, or Happy Kwanzaa, or Happy Hanukkah, there's no reason to be offended over that, okay? Just because someone believes differently than you doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make you wrong, doesn't make you right, doesn't make them right. I'll tell you right now, do you want to find out if you're right or wrong? When your life is over, hopefully it'll be a long, long, happy life, but when your life is over and you face your Creator, in my case, God, ask Him, who's right, who's wrong? The man's perfect. He will tell you who's right and who's wrong on the religion issue. You know what? I bet He's going to tell you everybody's right and everybody's wrong. Because every religion has its good parts and every religion has its bad parts. That's just my theory. What's yours?